afternoon. I can't hear y'all. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. Madison, for that generous introduction. To Reverend Sharpton, to Martin Luther King III, to all of the incredible organizers who convened this event, and most importantly to all of you for descending upon Washington, D.C. and elevating your voices and making it known to those in power that we will not turn away, not so long as we've got work to do. We have come this far by faith, and we have never been more powerful in the history of this nation. But there's still work to do. Our democracy is in crisis. The insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th told us so. So too did the failure of a number of Senate Republicans to sign on to bipartisan legislation simply to investigate what happened on January 6th. And we have reached what may well be our last chance to rescue this nation from racist minority rule. This nation and this world can ill afford to allow white supremacists, misogynists, homophobes, folks who deny the effectiveness of vaccines and who don't even want to certify presidential elections to take back control of the United States government through disenfranchisement. Now, there are some who suggest that we do nothing, don't they? That we accept the status quo that has led us to this moment of crisis. But those of us here today understand that if the Senate and the White House do not act, yes, the White House, catch that, the White House, because during the civil rights movement, we had a president of the United States who didn't just throw up their hands and say, all right, that's the Senate's responsibility to pass voting rights legislation. We need the White House to get involved and say we got to get rid of this Jim Crow filibuster, don't we? If we fail to act in this moment, we are on a path by which democracy dies in darkness. Allow me to paint a picture of that dark future for you, if you will. Thanks to partisan gerrymandering, first, the party of Donald Trump will take back control of the House next year, even as Democrats continue to win more votes nationwide. Hell no, indeed. Let us make sure that doesn't happen. The party of Donald Trump would also take back the United States Senate through voter suppression in states like Georgia. And we got to make sure that Raphael Warnock comes back to the United States Senate, don't we? The party of Donald Trump, under the status quo, would win back the presidency in the year 2024, whether because of voter suppression, the anti-democratic electoral college, or because red states have had success in overturning the results of free and fair elections. The Supreme Court, which is already under radical right-wing control, will do nothing to stop any of this. The GOP's 2 stolen seats will ensure that that happens. We will all feel the consequences of far-right minority rule. Power will continue to concentrate in the hands of a few. Corporations will continue to deny science and pillage our planet as we will hurtle full speed towards climate catastrophe. Wealth inequality will widen while the tax bills of the super rich continue to shrink. They will spend billions to send themselves into space while people on Earth starve. The cost of housing, healthcare, and education will grow even further out of reach for everyday Americans. Civil rights and civil liberties will continue to erode, and our government will have learned nothing from the murder of George Floyd last year. Shame indeed. Shame. Shame. The next pandemic under the status quo of voter suppression, where people who believe in science are denied the opportunity to serve in government, will rage uncontrolled, causing massive preventable suffering. And our government, the federal government, captured by powerful special interests and insulated from the will of the American people, the will of all of you, will remain indifferent to that suffering. My friends, that road is dark. I don't want to go down that road. I know that none of you want to go down that road. Thankfully, it doesn't have to be this way, does it? We are not powerless to stop it. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to achieve the long-held promise of a permanent, multiracial democracy. A democracy where your vote, and everyone's vote, matters because we've ended the scourge of partisan gerrymandering. Where you never have to worry about whether yourself or your friends and family are registered to vote because they're registered automatically. Where you don't need to justify exercising your right to vote by mail. Amen? Where teachers and bartenders who aspire to run for office can mount competitive campaigns even if they don't come from money or from a political family. Where candidates for office make their case to we the people that they deserve our support rather than being anointed by billionaires and corporations. Where elections are won by uplifting voters rather than suppressing their votes. That is a democracy where the American people are in charge, not a select powerful few. Where every voice and every vote matters. It is a promise that is every bit as worth fighting for as it was when heroes like Dr. King, Bayard Rustin, Marsha B. Johnson, and John Lewis, and so many others fought for our right to vote and for dignity, and in several instances took to these steps in the year 1963, and it is an opportunity that we have never been closer to grasping. The Senate, as you know, could bring about this vision tomorrow, couldn't it? But a small handful of senators are standing in our way. These senators cling to the dangerous delusion that 10 Republican senators of good conscience are somehow going to join them in the fight for democracy when we couldn't even get a Republican vote for the John Lewis Voting Rights Act a few days ago. Even as we fall further into crisis, these senators have found comfort in a White House that has failed to call for an end to the Jim Crow filibuster. So I'm here to tell you that power concedes nothing without a demand. And I'm here to tell you that that's why we're here today. To demand that President Biden call on the Senate to abolish the filibuster and pass the For the People Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. We know the future that we want for ourselves, for our families, for our country. And we aren't going away until that future is won. Thank you so much, and God bless America.